VLSos here. This is a video lesson on numbers. I want to build on what you already know, so hopefully most of what I'm showing you is review. That includes a little bit of new. The title of our lesson is Numbers. And a number, or numbers, are the objects of math. We can think of numbers as nouns, borrowing the idea from language that nouns are person, places, or things. And numbers are things, but they're abstract ideas. And many people consider mathematics to be difficult because abstract ideas are not things that you can touch or hold. Numbers come in a few different forms. We can call them our number forms. We have decimals. A decimal number uses 10 symbols. Those 10 symbols are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when we use those 10 symbols to express a number, we're expressing a decimal number. And decimals also use the idea of positions, the placement of those symbols for higher counting. Counting higher than 10. We can have another form of number called a fraction. And a fraction is a way of presenting a quantity as division. These two are number forms because we can express a quantity in decimal, we can change it to a fraction form, or we can have a fraction and change it into a decimal form. Third way that we're going to list here of presenting a number is a number as a percent. And that is a way of presenting a number with division by 100. And why do we do that? Because it's useful and we're used to it, thinking of things out of 100, divided by 100. And of course, we use this percent symbol The percent symbol means division by 100, and we can think of the percent symbol as a changed form of literally what it looks like to write division by 100 with a fraction bar. And we could imagine taking the symbol and turning it back into division by 100, first by taking the top 0 and putting it underneath, then leveling out this to think of it as a fraction bar, and finally adding a 1 in front of those zeros. The percent symbol is literally a mutation of division by 100 because that's what percent means. Let's give some examples of these number forms. I could think of the number 256. What form is it in? It is in decimal form. This is a decimal number. And it's understandable if you're confused and you see no decimal point, why we would call this a decimal number, because the word decimal and decimal point refer to subtly different things. This is a decimal number because it's using the 10 symbols, only 3 out of the set, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, to express a quantity. And we use different symbols in positions for different meaning. For example, this 6 is in the ones position. This 5 is in the tens position because it is the quantity of tens in this number, and we have the position here being used with the 2 for the quantity of hundreds. But this decimal number has no decimal point. I'll give an example of a decimal number that does. 3.46 is a decimal. But this decimal number has a decimal point. And the decimal point is used to show where the positions used in the number change to, from in this case the 3 being in ones, then meaning after the decimal that we have a 4 in the tenths place and a 6 in the hundredths place. Fractional components of a number. It's another example of a number, 2 divided by 5. This is a fraction. A number expressed as division. And we can think of it 2 divided by 5 and do the division in our minds or in a calculator and convert this to its decimal form. So 2 divided by 5, or 2/5, is the fraction form of 0.4. And 0.4 is the decimal form of the fraction 2/5. We can convert one form into another. It's the same quantity. One more example. 0.4 can be shown as the fraction 40 over 100, and we can think of this division by 100 and wrap it up into this percent symbol and express it in percent form as 40%. So this shows the same quantity in 3 different forms: the decimal form, fraction, and percent.